basically, I'm actually the founder of Kapovuji, which is an organization that just seeks to fight extreme hunger and poverty, and in the long term, also drive the education of less privileged children in this country, and in the long term, fight poverty. So basically, that is it. And we've been working in Kenya for the last since 2011. So and now we started with one school, and actually it wasn't the old school. It was actually the early childhood education pupils, and now we are at 8 schools in 6 counties. So yeah, we have 8 schools spread across 6 counties. So basically what we do is we've been providing porridge to kids in school. We have a total of 3,793 children that we've been giving porridge every single morning when they go to school. But now when Corona happened, then schools closed. So it meant that they had to be home, and with the challenges that they initially had that was making us give them porridge. So we decided to come up with something else to at least cushion them, and that is when we developed the Be Nice KE campaign initiative. So Be Nice KE is basically an initiative that seeks to just get supplies to the families where these children come from. And so far, we are targeting 1,200 families, and we've done 163. So that is basically it. Yeah, that is basically it.
So, have you heard about social activism before? Like, where did you come to hear about that, and what motivated you to actually, start your Cup of Uji initiative?
Okay, Kapovuji, I basically started Kapovuji because of one, my late mom was a primary school teacher. So I happened to visit her one of the days where she was teaching, and we had a conversation because I realized that there were some children that were out of class, and so we had a conversation as to why these kids were out of class, and that is when she explained to me that for these particular children, the idea is that most of them are either partial or total orphans. So they would come to school without having had breakfast, or without having had both breakfast and supper the previous night, just because the grandparents they were staying with didn't have something viable, something like a constant source of income. So it meant that affording 3 square meals was something else for them. So it wasn't a possibility. So that is when I thought, what is it that I could do in my own small way? I was still in college, so I was like, what is it that I could afford? Because for me, basically, I wanted to do them lunch of rice and beans, but I looked at the costs involved. It wasn't something that I could afford with my own pocket. So that's how I settled for Uji, because personally I love Uji, so that's how I settled on that.
Like the SDG of zero hunger, just enlighten me on that.
Yeah, we're dealing with the SDGs of zero hunger. We're dealing with access to education, quality education, and we're also dealing with no poverty. So because at the end of the day, when these kids go to school, at least education affords them an opportunity to at least make life better for wherever families they're coming from. So in as much, it is one thing kind of solving so many other things, because once we provide the porridge in the school, then they are motivated to come to school. So in terms of the enrollment, it is just okay. In terms of attendance and even absenteeism is reducing. So if they're able to come to school, then they're able to get an education. So once they get that education, they're able to use that education they have received to at least lift their families out of poverty, or at least change the circumstances around where they come from. So that is basically it. And though we have had other programs on the side as well, because we've also been giving sanitary towels to disadvantaged schoolgirls in school, and we've been offering scholarships to high school students and to university students. So it's a whole lot of things, and also doing mentorship for boys in primary schools. So
Wow. I'd like to know who do you work with, like your stakeholders?
Okay, one, we work with the communities where the schools are located. Two, we work with the provincial administration, that is the chiefs, the assistant chiefs, the village elders. We also work with management committees that are in those schools, which include the school head teacher and members of the community. And and then we work with the volunteers that do the donkey work. So yeah, so basically that is it. So in terms of work, that is what it all entails.
And do you measure your social impact by just seeing how many kids you've been able to, like, how do you measure your social impact? I'd like to know that.
Yeah, we are able to know how many cups of uji we provided so far. We are currently at 1.5 million plus for cups of uji that we provided. We are able to also follow up on students that we sponsor in high school. We look at how they are transitioning into university and colleges. Some go to technical colleges. Some have gotten to go to direct entry into our public universities, and we are able to track their performance. They're still doing well and pursuing their careers. So for us, we are happy. We are happy with the progress.
Okay, that's good. Could you tell me some of the challenges that you faced actually when setting up, and that you are currently facing now?
Okay, when setting up, I think I didn't have any challenges. So that was my own money from my own pockets. And it was something I could afford. I was dealing with what I could afford from my own pocket. But now along the way, when the demand for me to include the whole school came, I had to think of other ways of getting resources so that at least we could have the whole school and we could also spread